and welcome back to the Eternal Dawn YouTube channel. It is I, the Captain Straw Hat Lucas. Not videoed today, sadly. I know you'll miss my beautiful face. Well, at least it's there, smiling at you. Let me go around the table and introduce the crew. First up is one of my best friends, a person I consider a brother, Mr. Vexus, the lurking legend, the head cook of the Eternal Dawn. Perfect. Next up, some would say the man whose presence conquers Rogers, the helmsman of the Eternal Dawn, Mr. Knack Reacts. How we doing today, Knack? You better. It will. Yeah, join us next. Join us next time for 11:56, where Knack will tackle Emu. Next up, my right-hand man, my partner in crime, the historian and first mate of the Eternal Dawn, Mr. Kube of the Red Sea. How we doing today, Kube? Oh.
That really rocked.
You're such a boomer.
You guys,
You're such a boomer.
I had you guys muted from the start of the stream, so everybody knows the crew. Vex and everybody's here. Forbid me. I've been on the computer for way too long today. I said forbid
That's all
me.
right. Say your
Forbid
pun again
me.
so I can make fun of it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, don't say it.
Guys,
don't put that
say it
evil
again.
into the world.
Guys.
No.
It's a chapter we've been waiting for so long. It's a chapter we've been begging about. It's a chapter that rocked this world, honestly.
Boo.
He's such a boomer. I wanted everybody to witness it. Like, this is why I wanted to repeat it.
Yeah,
This
guys,
is what we're dealing with, people.
We can remove Cube from the stream now.
Sorry, I had to.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, Vex, how do you feel about this cover spread?
Man, I've been campaigning the whole time. 5 more years. I've been saying the Yamato cover story is not that bad. In fact, I got to a point where I thought it was great. And just when it is the most interesting it has ever been, and a whole bunch of these people want to jump on the bandwagon, it's like we get a color spread instead, and it's cool. Sure.
AP, remute Cube.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
I fear the
appreciate
worst
that.
has just begun, AP. Sorry, Nat, go ahead.
No, I was gonna reiterate Vic's sentiment because it was just getting spicy with this new mysterious hero that we want to hear all about. But I still love these color spreads. There's something about seeing the crew smiling. Except for Usopp. I mean, he's
What do you mean? He's having the time of his life.
yeah, right.
He's vibing.
Right.
I like how
But,
the
I mean,
penguin
I'm
is not panicking though. Oh, they're flying as well. Never mind. I was
Yeah,
like, why is the penguin not panicking? It should be falling to its
They're good.
death.
They're good. But yeah, let's get into this because this was a wild chapter.
Yeah. Let's dive right in, boys. First off, little Loki, top tier One Piece kid. Just gonna say it right now. Little man.
He's pretty
Bob.
balmy, isn't he? He's
We'll
pretty.
be real. He's kind of a little shit, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd put up with him.
He reminds me of a little Lucas
Oh,
in
yeah,
a
that
lot of
checks out.
ways.
You know what it is, though? It's like the environment that the kind of Fishman district was raised around. You know what I mean? Like, he instantly
Mhm.
sees humans and he's like, absolutely not. I'm better than
Yeah, I don't like
It's
this. I don't
right?
like these people. I don't like that. What does he say in the chapter? He's like, you guys scurry around. Like, just because to him,
Yeah.
we're ants, dude. We're ants.
This is the world Harold's trying to change. This is the vision.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we don't want any more of. And Loki's just like, no. Let me stay like that. I don't like being nice.
I think it's a crazy choice as well, because when you introduce a character like Rox properly into the story, even if it's in a flashback, it's like you want them to seem like there's always these shots that Oda does that are like with a forced perspective or something, where they're like trying to make these folks seem enormous, seem massive, especially comparative to Luffy. I always refer to the moment where Luffy blocks Doflamingo's kick to like Law when he's like down, and Doflamingo's like 3 times bigger than Luffy, even though that's like not fully accurate. It's like that perspective makes this bad guy look crazy, and in here it's the opposite because they just look so small compared to Loki, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, that
I mean-
happens. That does happen. Yeah.
It's pretty par for the course with who we're dealing with so far, as we find out. But yeah, tell them, yeah, you know, little ones got wounded. Go get your dad. But I really want to touch on. Well, I mean, this is can't skim past it, but in reference to this, like Loki actually being surprised that his dad cared about it in the first place, I thought that was a nice touch to this whole moment, and probably something he'll harken back to. But I mean, then we get this next page, man. This is insane.
What a way to amp up the chapter. Am I right?
so
Oh,
it might
Go
be
ahead,
so
Cube.
premature. It might be so premature. All I'm saying is that stance of rocks and the fact that his sword creates shockwaves. I am wondering if Sengoku was talking about Xobex when he talked about the Gura. The ability to destroy this very rare.
well, we can
Not
touch
taking
on
the
that
hold up.
because this specific like shot of him here reaching the sword back harkens back to 2 other characters we've seen in panel, both Whitebeard and Roger.
Yeah, the
Roger had the
departure as
same
well.
stand with the shot he used against Odin, and Whitebeard had the same stance when he launched his assault on Brainford. So
Yeah.
there is definitely similar. Oda's trying to draw a similarity of both of them. I don't know if it's more along the line of he's just another top tier of the world, or if they all derive something from each other. But no, you're absolutely right. I've seen the community pointed out a few times. The panels are almost 1-to-1.
That's interesting, right there.
Yeah.
Roger, Whitebeard, and Rocks now all have like this little panel of them like reaching their arm back before they swing.
Yeah. So
It's
I
like they're
do,
flinging their
yeah.
hockey.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, it could be, like I said, it could be something that they're deriving, like that we're supposed to dig into more, or it could be Oda telling us, like, you know, these are the guys on this level. Like, he doesn't have to explain much further. Like, he's putting them in the same position, doing the same sort of feats as Roger and Whitebeard without giving us a big backstory or like a lot of context to it. Like, we got 2 chapters and people are already saying he's the strongest in the verse. I'm like, whoa. Let's
Yeah. Let's take a step back.
Let's take a second. But no, seriously, he's putting out that energy right from the get go.
Yes, I've heard about the Roger is actually a fraud allegations, which are crazy.
I mean,
I'm like,
at the Reverie, some crazy stuff happened. Like, we should get into this 5 Kings kidnapped stuff. A 1-to-1 confrontation with Emu that he apparently disappears from. Like, how does this man get in and out of these places?
It's not 1-to-1. Gunko's there. Yeah.
This is huge. Like,
Gunko's the handmaiden.
I remember people brushing off the fact that there was even a handmaiden, like, oh, that was an accident, or like that was someone else, or yeah, don't dig into that. And I'm like, no, this is crazy, guys.
Do you remember the handmaiden is Luffy's mom theory?
yeah.
No, I don't. But
No, I've heard a few of them, and I mean, I knew that they would be somebody not like crazy important, but somebody important enough just because they're allowed in there. We don't even know if the Gorosei are like legitimately allowed in there, and like the guards at the rest of the Holy Land who hear about it get like disappeared or some shit from what we saw when like Bonnie and Sabo were walking around. So like I feel like this person has to be important, so it does make a lot of sense that they would be of a god knight, you know, caliber. So even though we see that she looks like she could be the same age, as present day, just different hairstyles or something like that. But
well, in present day,
I
she
don't
has
know,
long
'cause this
hair.
also-
It's just like tucked into her shirt color, kind of.
Yeah.
I get a
Also,
younger
Yeah.
vibe from it, though. I'm not gonna lie, as weird as it sounds. Like, you know what I mean?
You get what?
Like, there's a more mature, a younger kind of vibe from it. Like the modern Gonko seems a
mhm.
bit more mature.
So
I-
I did a bit of research. Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. So sorry.
I was just gonna say I could be completely off the mark with it because we have one panel
No,
of her
I thought
face.
the
I'm
same
just
thing. If I'm being honest, I just like you said just now. There's only one panel, so I didn't read too much into it. But I did think that she looked a little younger. Sorry, go ahead, Cube.
So there's something that caught my eye. It was what she was wearing, and I seen someone wear something very similar. It's not 1-to-1, but it's very close to the attire of Mother Caramel.
oh my god, it is.
No shit.
Very similar.
If we seen it colored blue, we know it's dark, but if that's blue, like that's spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the one thing difference, it looks like Gonko's once has like some sort of tissue coming out of it, you know, like drapes or something. While Mother Caramel is like those are motifs, but it's very similar. Very similar.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
And obviously,
Interesting
Mother
catch.
Yeah, yeah.
I also noticed he looked like Kid here, and I have something to say about the multiple references that we get of rocks throughout the chapter. He kind of gives off a vibe of many different parts of our modern age, but this panel in particular, where he sat, and we get the like over the shoulder view, really gives me Kid energy. Just with the cape and stuff. But yeah, like, why do you think they couldn't do anything? Because the narrator straight up says it. He literally can't do anything here, and he knows. You know, this got to be big, right?
Maybe because
I have a
Emu
pretty
would
crazy
unleash. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, hit us with it, baby.
Give me
Tell
a
us,
sec.
Rosie. Tell us, Rosie. Get him. One day she'll hear
Well,
us.
The narrator usually like cuts in for this stuff in big moments, and I like how the narrator's been all over the rocks flashback, both with Harold and Rocks.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, my thing is that it goes back. I really think there are conditions that even the Gorosei Emu have to follow, and that's why he was specifically being very like. It's like Doflamingo. They're not saying exactly. They're making hyperbolic statements. So they can get away with almost like, you know. I was gonna say the M word, but
Oh my god!
with crazy, with taboo with taboos. The M word. The M word. I mean, the word for unaliving someone. I don't want to say it too early on.
Mordor?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
from Lord of the Rings?
No, I
Mordor?
was,
Mordor. Like they have conditions.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I just said that. I said he specifically avoided saying the taboos, which that could be the difference in God Valley. God Valley, he did a mistake of talking about the taboos. Like, what if Emu can do anything because of what he said? It's not enough. Sorry, I'm done.
I feel like it's not really just like a little stare down. Like, I feel like there might be a little more to this. I could be wrong, but I had been talking in Daxake's Discord about it, and I even asked a question on the Redacted that he recorded with Sai. It just got posted earlier today if you're watching this live. So you can go check it out. And they talked about it for a little bit. But my idea was that when we were talking about in a previous stream with Jacoby, that Emu might have like a reversey or game-based power. And like, I'm wondering now if their power might be something just more akin to rules in general. And that's like a theming of them personally. But like, what if Rox has a game-based power? And like, because he did specifically try to recruit his like all of his entire crew through Davy back fights. So that's like a series of games. So if he does have a devil fruit, like what if his power has something to do with that? And if him and Emu were able to like recognize like this is just a stalemate right here.
Yeah, I do have to shout out real
like
quick a dub to myself and Cube for like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago or so, having this gag take that Rox was really weak and won all of his crew in Davy back fights. We explored the Davy back fight idea a lot, Cube especially. So like I gotta give us both some credit there. But I just thought it was funny when I gag take him. But the idea of him having a game power is different. I'd not heard that at all. That's
there was a theory floating around that he had something to do with like rock, paper, scissors or something. And like that might be how he got into the garden, was he just like flew in like undetected, and his name is literally Rocks. So like I don't, and like when he cuts, maybe that's I don't know if it's
buggy cuts. Oh my god, the family trio. Let's go, dude.
Chill. But no, I think that it's interesting to think about. Like I don't really fully believe the rock paper scissors thing, but like what if it's just a more broad thing, like just games in general? You know what I mean? Because in a Davy bag fight, you have to do a lot of different things. We see this man wielding a lot of different weapons as well throughout the chapter that we get. So I'm just like, maybe he's like a jack of all trades, like in that kind of like boosted aspect. Is like, what if he has a power that could be like, you know, just like almost like a hard counter to what Emu has going on.
Yeah, we spoke in the I think in the same channel on Dax Discord about this, and like with the Domi reversey type game, it seems that Emu is more of the strategy side of things, where Rox leaves things up to fate or chance. Like he just kind of just does whatever he wants, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and it seems to work out more often than not with him. So I'd be interested if like they're two opposite sides of the same, you know, whatever you call it, luck or, you know, chance, faith, whatever they want to call it.
So I'm happy that you guys both brought those up, because there's something that I actually caught by rereading the chapter. And I think that's why Xebex might have dropped the Davy Jones quote about Davy Jones. Don't you find it interesting that those two games, the Domi Reversi and Davy Back fights, is a game about flipping people. One is about forcing it, one is the choice. And they both start with the letter D, and the second word is also about backwards. Domi Reversi and Davy Back fight. I'm wondering if one influenced the other. And that's what Xebex was saying. Like, I know how you became a god. I'm going to do the same thing. Like,
well, that's exactly where the conversation stemmed from, because like they really are two sides of the same thing. Like you're flipping people to your side against their will, but one is like a tradition that you agree to, and the other one is more coercive and forced upon you. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if basically, what if, because you know Davy Jones goes up at least Pirate Paradise, or at least 800 years where Jover was a pirate. What if, or it's definitely in the ballpark of where everything was happening. What if Domi Reversi was a perversion of the back fight? Or vice versa.
Interesting.
That's kind of crazy.
One of the two. Because you see what I mean? Even the naming there are some similarities to the both namings. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Oh, I totally agree. Like the similarities are right there for us. Oda does it all the time. It now just comes down to which was first.
Yeah.
Because like we know Davy Jones is supposed to be ancient based on Robin's take.
I feel like I don't actually think that's necessarily what to pull from, because if we see that these are like the two opposing sides, I feel like if one is supposed to represent Rocks and in turn modern day Blackbeard, and the other has been Emu the whole time, neither of those are going to be the people. We're not rooting for either of those people. We want the Luffy way, which, like we had mentioned, it's like Luffy doesn't have to win a game to get you to join his crew. He doesn't have to like force his will upon you. He has you change your mind through his actions and things like. So if there's like a middle path, you know, like that's what I feel like we should. Is what I think the Straw Hats will be most aligned with. You know what I mean? This is like two sides of the coin, but like it's not the sides of the coin we're looking for, like the faces, but like maybe
it's
something
not the coin we want. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's kind of
these aren't the coins we're looking for.
I can see that as well. Honestly.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Luffy's the disruptor, right? Like Joy Boy, Nika, whatever you want to call him, he's the disruptor to this. Like this is a constant threat. Maybe we're looking at like the ancient evil and like the retried, like, or the, you know, the predecessor or even the copycat of someone who tried to go about it their own way, and Luffy's
Yeah.
the one to disrupt it.
And it kind of goes in with like what we learned earlier about like with the Harley texts and the different ways to interpret the sun god. There were 3 different ways listed there as well. So
Yeah.
just like keeping the eye on like the middle, I think, is like what we should be looking for there, because like this is like Rox's path, and I don't think that Luffy is really directly tied with Rox in many ways from what we've seen so far.
Right.
So
Other than
I feel like
changing the
this
world.
is obviously, yeah, this is obviously supposed to be the Blackbeard, like what Roger is to Luffy. That's like what this is probably going to be to Blackbeard.
Totally agree.
Yep.
We don't need this to connect to Luffy. I've seen that thrown around too. Like Luffy's connected to Rox and Roger, and I'm like, I don't
Well, and
need
it's
both.
also like he's also double timing as like a Shanks-like figure to Loki, which we see later in the chapter. Loki overhears his proclamation and his resolve and whatnot when he's discussing it to Harold at the banquet. So it's like he's either way. That's not like really a direct tie to Luffy, more so than like the other pivotal figures in the story.
Right.
It's actually, if you think about it, it's very also very similar. Xebec seems, at least to Whitebeard, who's around the same age as Roger, he seems to be older, at least of 10 years to Whitebeard, and is very similar to Luffy and Blackbeard as well. Roger and Blackbeard. So Xebec and Roger, Xebec being older, just like Blackbeard is older than Luffy. So you also have that, the age thing that's very similar as well. So yeah, I liked it, what you guys talked about.
Right, and we get
But,
to learn a bit more about Rox here. Like, see, he's absolutely Roger coded and Luffy coded in a sense. Like, he runs straight into a fight, sees Harold, and first thing he thinks about fighting him. And I really like Rox's character. I'm just come right out and say it. I think he's interesting as hell. I'm not sure if he's going to be the evil that they made him out to be, but he's certainly not like a model guy. We've learned that already.
yeah. There was something actually, and I want to talk about, and I think we've addressed it. And I've addressed it since Egghead, because of the way Shari reacted to the voice entry comment, which is very similar to Gonko remembering Brook. Because of the Celestial Dragons we see there, I am now convinced a lot of the Celestial Dragons might be the people that they take over and they're able to remodel, like the way we found the koala. Deprive our own personality, because 2 of them look like they could be Okamas.
Yeah, they're pretty similar.
They don't look like the regular Celestial Dragons. So I'm wondering if some Celestial Dragons are people who were captured. They made a way to forget who they were before, and they be continuing this whole Celestial Dragon thing.
I don't know. This is also a while ago. Maybe this is just old ugly dragons that we haven't seen in modern times.
I don't know. I don't think that. I think it's strange that we get like a different. Like normally they're just like little frumpy guys, and like these guys are pretty frumpy. But like it does seem a little bit more detailed than I guess we're used to. I don't think it's much to read into though, honestly.
Yeah.
Right. I think this hockey clash is real intriguing. Like, well, there's 2 ways I interpreted this. Like Clash eradicated any sign of others 5 kilometers around, and I'm like, is that knocking everybody out around them, or is that like the only thing you could feel for 5 kilometers was this hockey? Like, I'm wondering how to interpret this, because this seems nuts to happen at Marijoa.
Yeah, that is insane. I don't think it's straight like took them out like per se,
right.
But I don't know. The wording on that in the officials is a little off to me, and I'm wondering what like. I don't think it was.
What are they trying to say here?
Scans.
No, it wasn't.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
what are you trying to say
it's
here?
It's crazy.
Like, there's some heavy
How
damage
many
if that's the
Celestials
case.
did they take out? Yeah.
Well, the idea I have is that it's a clash of Conquerors hockey, and like if the Conquerors hockey of Fishman Island from Luffy was enough to knock out 50,000, perhaps Conquer Clash 2 of these knocked out every dragon in the city.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
Is that like, I don't know if I'm looking too far into it, but it seems like they get away scot-free after this. So like, I'm thinking it was just a Conquerors clash. Everybody gets knocked out. As silly as that sounds.
No, I
Or
think
it could
that's
also-
probably that's how I interpreted it. Sorry, Cube, go ahead.
There's also a possibility that people were knocked out, but they just started running away because they got scared. Remember, that's what happened with when Whitebeard
True.
and
Yeah,
when
yeah.
when Whitebeard and Roger clashed, it was taking the whole island. And before the fight happened, the animals were already leaving, but then even more animals were fleeing when the clash was
Yeah.
happening. And that was a whole island. So it could be. I parallel this clash similar to Roger versus Whitebeard more than Kaido versus Luffy. The scale is massive.
Yeah, it is. I think that Oda's putting big emphasis on it. We don't know exactly how big this is. This could be 500 kilometers for all we know.
Oda doesn't know kilometers.
We just gotta wait.
Yeah, he has no idea. It's about 2 Zunishas worth of a diameter.
1,500 Gomu Gomus.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I love this though. I love the little interaction. But this bounty poster, man, this is stirring the pot once again with another modern pirate reference in Buggy.
Oh yeah,
I know.
it is.
I know. So I
Did you
have
know
a take.
it's still alive.
It is. But there's a take I have about all these other pirate references that I think Oda might be going with here. Now I'm all for Buggy D brother. Like that'd be hilarious. Okay? But what if Oda's trying to show us all these similarities to Rock in modern day pirates to kind of symbolically say the pirates that were inspired by Rox's way of pirating as opposed to Roger's way of pirating all resemble pirates we've seen in this chapter because we get similarities Foxy, Kid, Buggy. There's a couple more here, but like it's all he's not related to all of them. I'm gonna say it right now. Like you can't keep playing this game with me.
No, I heard the funniest thing the other day. I think I was in either King Recon's live chat reacting to it or Daxake's. I don't remember, but everyone was like throwing out all these theories like, oh, what if he's related to this person? What if he's related to this person? And somebody said he's the One Piece version of Nick Cannon. I'm like,
He's the One Piece Genghis Khan. He's in 10% of all the population.
He's Poseidon.
There's gotta be.
Yeah.
It's gotta be one of them. One of these characters has to be inspired by Nick Cannon.
That's so funny.
Obviously, I've always said that for me, it could either be because of the similarities of with Buggy. It's either Double Rod Rocks or Shiki. My issue I have with the picture thing is because Oda did make claims. The reason why certain characters are drawn similar in flashback or stuff like that is about ambition. They're very similar to that character in that, like young.
Yeah,
kid,
well, that's what I'm trying to say. That's why there's so
Frankie.
many in this one chapter. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Oda's
yeah,
like, all right, don't
exactly.
get
It's about
carried away
ambition.
with last chapter. Trying to show like these are the pirates. Like this is the way of pirating inspired by Rocks, and then you have the way of pirating inspired by Roger, and it's two different ways of going about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, the different ambition of this.
The
No,
peace
just like how
there's-
Blackbeard had like 50 sons. He was carrying on Rox's will.
Yeah. But actually, I
just
just
like-
realized
Oh my
something.
God.
If I may, real quick, it's like the Peace Mains and the Morganeers in the
Right.
original Romance Non. Yeah, like two factions of pirates inspired by two different people. So I mess
Well,
with
that's
that
a great
heavy.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the connections to Buggy are there. Like I've been playing with this theory myself for the past 2 weeks. Don't get me wrong, but like Kube said, Oda does do this with flashbacks, and it's more about ambition and like the path
Inspiration
certain
and
people
stuff.
are
Yeah.
on. Yes.
Yeah. So, there's something I just realized. There's a crazy parallel with Luffy in this chapter. Both Luffy and Zebex were close to the red line, right? They both said, he said, I'll go to Elba 56 years ago, but he only arrived there 48 years ago. Luffy's near the red line, says he wants to go to Fishman Island, doesn't go directly, and goes after 2 years. What if there was a form of time skip, just like Luffy for Zebex? It took him 8 years.
I feel like
The power
We
he
got, like,
has, the
two
power
of
he
them.
has.
yeah, but like in this we effectively got like two of them because we saw he was somehow an entity, a standalone entity during the Reverie things. 8 years later, he pulls up with several prolific, you know, people, and then 4 years later, once we find out at the end of the chapter, he takes all of Hachinosu, and by that point, we know that he has probably gotten at least Lin and a few of the other big names that we know. I believe he hadn't gotten Kaido at that point, or that's when they go to get Kaido, is because that's like what they mentioned in Kaido's flashback. Newgate shows up, he's like, hey, we're going to Hachinosu, or something like that.
Right.
So like we get 2 full time skips, you know, where a lot could have happened for Rocks, and he went from being he looked like a completely just a single dude, right? He didn't have like a full crew with him at the Reverie.
Yeah, exactly. Like he wasn't with them yet. It was time before that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like 2 time skips. So I'm wondering one of those 2 time skip. It could be a sort of, because obviously it's not gonna be like Luffy, but it could be like a different type of time skip than Luffy's is. While Luffy's all about training, while during those years he was learning about stuff.
Well, that's an interesting take, but I got an interesting question to ask based on all this, because hearing you lay it out like that, how did they erase this man from history? Like, this should have been known worldwide.
If he was doing things like toppling the gates of justice and like...
Yeah. I'm having serious doubts now how they just eliminated him after God Valley, because they made it sound like he didn't do anything prolific before God Valley. He was just like a pirate. But like, we're seeing Luffy level feats even higher, like going to war with the world government is something, you know, that Luffy became infamous for.
So I have something actually,
but I have something after that.
It's how this is my fear on how they were able to erase Lily, because remember, even in the private quarters of Alabasta, where they have thousands of years of history, there's nothing about Lily, only her own private letter. When Sugar used a Hobby no Mi, and we saw with Scarlet and with Usopp, when Usopp forgot Nami, Robin, all his development of Enies Lobby in Water 7 was gone away. He had those characters come back. And with Scarlet, she had forgotten the moment that Kyros was taken out. She had forgotten the promise of everything, so she was going back for her daughter when Kiro said, I'm going to handle this and I'll come back. We've seen that with Sugar's Fruit. So I'm wondering if that's why they introduced her with Sugar's Fruit. In the Emu side, there's an ability that if you could erase someone, basically, once that name is just forgotten for the public knowledge for some people, basically, even the events that are connected to it just gets... If Xebex tells the people about the people of the D, all the people who heard that from Xebex would just forget that because they cannot tell. And what's interesting, I went to look back recently, all the Rocks pirates always say Rocks, right? But Rocks is also the name of the crew. Why they were never talking about Xebex himself? They never said Xebex, they said Rocks. They were talking about them as a unit, not as the person. And then Garp was the only one who could remember, and he said he's too fuzzy to remember about those bunch. He can remember well. So I'm wondering if Xebex was truly, like you guys say, was erased. Like they have an ability to do that.
I feel like it could just be the way that I kind of see it is that he acted as just a single individual and he did get a bounty, and I'm assuming that what's on that bounty poster is extremely high. But you know, that being said, I feel like he went without forming like a crew for like, was it at least 8 years, and then another 4 on top of that. He was active for 12 years before he even had, and that's a minimum of 12 years. He probably had a bit of a career before the Reverie stuff as well, but he had a really long career without actually having a flag. So it's harder to recognize, you know what I mean, until you get to that point. And then shortly after he gained a flag, and remember Usopp made a huge deal about the significance that a flag has on a pirate crew and stuff like that. But like it was shortly after he actually made a proper crew that he was taken out. And even then in the story of God Valley, they don't mention him by name. So I feel like it wouldn't have been too much to cover up, honestly. You know what I mean? As far as what the public would see.
Right. That is true.
And then if you take out anyone who mentions Rocks, then everybody else will learn, oh, you don't mention Rocks. You know what I mean? And after
Yeah,
a
kind
while,
of like
people
what happened
just
to Who's
forget.
Who.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just
So-
going to bounce something off you now, but based on Cube's idea, because we did see with the hobby fruit that all the people Doflamingo's crew didn't forget about the memories. Because that was going to be my first thing I kind of threw at you, Cube, because like people do remember rocks when they talk about them. But what if it's
That's-
like a Marine thing? Like all the Marines remember the events, like they remember of the rocks crew, but the rest of the world doesn't. Much like Doflamingo's crew would remember all the people that were turned into toys, but the actual citizens didn't. There's just something
No.
here, man.
No,
I
Treble. Trigger's the only one who can remember everyone. And the reason why I say
Oh.
that is the way Sengoku talked about it.
Yeah.
He talked about the event like it was an official thing. What if basically the Xebec stuff is what he's read about that person Xebec, but no one has basically access those memories to basically conflict. Nothing can conflict because and then they wrote something to cover it up with the rocks. Yeah, they had a leader called Xebec, stuff like that, but they never referred to him as Xebec, only as rocks. And the same way that they call them rocks. The same
I
naming.
think that's a bit more of a stretch. Actually, the fact that Treble was forgetting about the people until
I just,
you know what I mean.
I don't think that it really matters entirely. Like what the way that I kind of see it is like the average person, they might know that like the Yonko exists, but we're not positive that some system like that like existed, you know, at this era. 56
Yeah, well,
plus
we
years
didn't
ago
even
and
know the
things like that,
Yonko
so-
existed till like high level
Exactly.
Grand Line.
So
Yeah.
to the average person across the world, they would have no idea who Rox was, even if he was like extremely notorious without like, I don't know. I feel
Right.
like
I mean,
Right.
I don't think it's
Go
that
ahead.
much to cover up. You know, there's definitely a level of awareness, like for your people like Shocky, who are like really tapped into bounties and stuff like that. But she's a niche case. The every average person out in like each of the 4 blues and stuff like that,
They're
I
already
don't think
bought
they
in
would really
anyway.
even. Yeah, I don't think they would know who he is. It wouldn't be too hard to cover it up normally. You know what I mean?
so not my rebuttal, but it did seem that in the Kaido flashback, the glimpse of it, when the people around the world found out about the rocks, they all knew about who were the rocks pirates. In the newspaper, it was in the newspaper their fall.
Yeah,
And
I
they
don't know.
even said,
But,
"What
yeah,
the-"
but I don't know if the rocks were in the newspaper or that God Valley was attacked. That could be
No.
like
They
the
said
headline.
the guy even. I can repeat what the guy said. That what? How can people as impressive as the rocks could be all defeated? And who is Monkey D. Garp? That was their comment. So in that article, talked about Garp defeating all the rocks pirates. So it was in the newspaper. So it does put like, but again, it does give credence that maybe the people we saw there are just people who are in the know. Like Vex could be right that like the majority of people like in the 4 blues, it could be people from the New World. So that's why they
Yeah.
know, because the rocks are very active in the New World. So it doesn't say, but it just seems that at least there was a strong minority of people who have heard about them at that time, that they were not just completely invisible.
Yeah, I'm a little
Shout
more
out-
convinced. Just basic cover-ups, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
like shout out Elson Jackington in the chat.
Elson! Sorry.
Elson, but he said
It's great to
was
see you
news.
back, brother.
It really is great to see you back, my man. Was news being spread as candid as now? Morgan's may have just been a kid back then, and like that's a good point as well. Even with because there is that big.
He was a
belief
kid at God Valley.
Yeah,
He's like
only
8
14.
years old or 13 years old or something.
Yeah,
15,
13 or
15.
14.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah,
15,
so
he's
back
15.
in like, back in the Reverie thing, like he didn't exist, right? Like, or he's like 2
Yeah.
years old or something. If we go 56 years ago, which is like
Yeah.
when Rocks broke into the Reverie and stuff like that. So like news might not have been the same, you know, to that level.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's a super
But
good
this
point.
is the small. This is small stuff. Let's get into what else really happened here, because we get a total lineup that I did not expect. I did not expect these characters. I was expecting all the
Man.
known faces. I'm not gonna lie to you. The fact he just gave us another batch of new ones.
Yeah, I mean, we knew about Shiki and Buckin and Whitebeard, but seeing Don Marlin, a gangster of the West Blue, probably related to one of the 5 families, maybe Beige.
Oh yeah.
Right. I had the same thoughts.
Maybe like a rival. Maybe like a rival to Bay, because there's 5 of them. You know, the Capone family is just one. But there are, that's what the West Blue is famous for, mostly known other than Ohara. And then we get Wang Ji or Ochoku,
Wild.
a pirate guru, future Commodore of Pirate Island. So Hachinosu, that's crazy.
Absolutely wild. People have drawn similarities to character or Caribou's design, and I see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people keep saying he looks like Red King, aka Cincinnati, one of the vice admirals we saw at Egghead.
Yeah.
Like the neck area.
Gansui. Yeah, Gansui.
Ganzui.
Yeah,
this guy,
wild.
Who was introduced in the best arc of all time, Thriller Bark, because everything ties back to Thriller Bark.
Is he the knight? He's the guy all ironclad in armor. Yeah.
Yeah, with the like horse legs.
What a G. What a fantastic spread of characters. Awesome.
So I have an idea for Gansui and Wangji as well. You know how people have been talking about Karibo? Do you know who else looks like Karibo and in the cover story was said to have followers? The revolutionary guy that looked like Che Guevara.
Yeah.
And he was concerned, in the cover story they said, this is where his followers now resides, and there was this thing. So, but Gansui, I won't lie to you. He made me think of Apu.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people drawing characters like drawing resemblance to these characters. I've heard the Caribou ones. I found that a little interesting because he does kind of look like, kind of Lucky Roo as well. And like this guy is Caribou and his brother.
Yeah.
A Rouge?
He's nowhere near.
Look at his hair.
Nowhere near
his hair. It's the exact same as a Rouge's.
I do kind of see it.
As well.
Either way, his design leaves a lot more room for discussion than Wang Ji's, because man, this is one of the worst designs I've seen. Like,
the fact that he was king of Pirate Island blows my. Like, really, this guy? Like, what?
Yeah, he looks like a legitimate snake or like a slug, even. But like, character, like personality wise, he kind of feels like slimy. I don't know, man.
He's been Caribou vibes. Yeah. Big time.
No, all you people saying he's got Moria vibes, chill. Leave my boy alone. Like, what did Moria do to you? Like, this guy is way below Moria.
there's something that interests me because of those ones. So they're the initial 6 that basically the ones who lost the They Be Back fight to Xebec, the first ones, right? It's interesting, and it's those ones, and I would assume that Captain John and Gloriosa would have been among the first ones as well because of that God Valley moment. They were all leading it, the Rocks Pirates. So I found it interesting that Gloriosa and Captain John is a later, just food for thought. Interesting they were afterwards. They're the second wave, which is interesting.
That just means all the characters that we're talking about right now. It means that they're all going to fail, which we already knew.
Yeah,
we already know that. I find the big takeaways. Actually, there's a lot to take away from this. Like, we get a bit of personality from each of them, but the fact that I'm not sure how the translations referred to her again, but here it says science robber, and like that screams to me she took the experiments of like Mads and spread them to the pirate world. You know what I mean?
Or that's how she made
waves. Perhaps Tech Bandit in one iteration of the scans.
Yeah. Also, what we know of Mads is the starting year of Mads is just 39 years ago. Mads came together and discovered Lydia's fact. We don't know how old it is, so it's like even that is like it's even a time before we know of Mads, which could be interesting.
Yeah, I think that whenever we get a lot of characters introed like this, like sometimes it can be like really crazy and lead for tons of theories and discussion for years to come, like the underworld bosses at the Tea Party. And then sometimes it can kind of flop, like half of the vice admirals at Egghead, you know what I mean? I bet you can't name 5 of them. Like
I can't.
like maybe
Cincinnati,
5.
That is a good.
Clam Jammer.
That is
That's
a good point.
wild. Stop. No, so that's the thing is like
Bluegrass.
I'm expecting this. I'm expecting this to hit for like years to come in the same sense as those underworld bosses. So I think this is like really cool and it's really interesting. I love piecing together more bits and pieces of the timeline. Noticeably, we don't see Lin here.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, we know Kaido won't be around for another couple of years, but it's interesting because at this point, Big Mom's about 20, maybe a little older than that. I can't remember. I did the math, but
25.
she's
So the last a year we have is 44 years ago. She would have been 44 years ago at least. Because she's 69, she would have been 25.
yeah. For the we assume she's probably there for the Hachinosu stuff, but here on Elbaf is still a little further back
28,
than
I
that, so it would be 4 years prior. Yeah.
Yeah. So like 21.
Yeah, so it's interesting that she's not here. And then there's a
Huge.
few other individuals like Gilba Star and Captain John and stuff like that that are also not here. So we'd assume that he picked those crew members up in the next 4 years leading up to Hachinosu, or once he was residing there even before God Valley, because there's still some time in between those dates. But it's
Right.
I just love seeing like it's
Is
almost
he
like,
the one who
back
made
in
it
Jaya.
popular on Hachinosu?
No.
Because that's where Foxy seemed to say it originated from. But like, what if it wasn't as popular until Rocks took Hachinosu and was like, "We're playing Davy back fights every day."
They called
I
it an
can't wait to play
age-old
games all day.
tradition.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
true.
they did.
Yeah, so,
they
like,
did.
I believe-
Age old.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I would assume it's longer than 56 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pause.
Yep.
A Gomu.
I had an idea
A
about the
single
origin.
Gomu, yeah.
A single Gomu.
So I had an idea of Hachinosu, and I had to go look back at the chapter pre-time skip of something that was mentioned the same way as Hachinosu. So you know how
Okay.
Hachinosu was, they lost control of it. The world's criminals were sent over there, and basically they called Paradise. Paradise, who reside there, there's a god. Currently, right now, the Flamingo is residing in Impel Down. If everything's cyclical, what if Hachinosu is what Impel Down will become? They'll lose control of the prison. Like, what if Hachinosu was the previous Impel Down before they had Impel Down?
Well, if I'm being honest,
They lost control.
it's pretty clear to me that Hachinosu was like based off of Australia, where like they sent a bunch of criminals in like
Hold
exile, and then they ended up, founding a country and becoming like their
Hold
own
up.
thing. That's true. That's like what happened though. Like it's not.
Yeah.
That's
They
just
did
history,
also
guys.
discover gold.
Fun fact: the
Yes,
introduction
They
to
did
Impel Down
find
was,
gold there.
and the introduction to Impel Down was, it's a prison where they send the worst of the worst over there.
Just like Australia's
Around the world.
beginnings.
Yeah. Oh, but also it's like the same concept of Alcatraz as well.
Yeah.
A private island where they send the worst of the worst. Yeah, it's the same thing. But yeah, like, what if Hachinosu was the previous Impel Down? They lost Hachinosu, they had to take something else, and they took over Impel Down.
It would make sense if they were willing to pay money to pirates
back.
for getting it back for them.
Yeah. But that could
Maybe
be
the
just because of the resources.
Since it's cyclical, maybe the Flamingo will take over Impel Down and make it into a paradise himself, in a way.
Yeah, but how would that benefit him
Mm.
from joining Cross Guild?
I mean, I'm
Does
not
he
talking about the
want
cross guild.
it?
Because right, yeah. Let's put
No,
that aside.
don't let him bait you. Don't let him bait you.
He
Know that,
baited me. I fell for it, but yeah, but like I'm interested. It's because of the cyclical stuff. I'm wondering now with Hachinosu, and so I'm wondering now if Impel Down. And what's interesting in Impel Down is there were a lot of there were some poneglyphs inside there. So I'm wondering if Hachinosu also has like important poneglyphs, just like Impel Down. Food for thought,
Yeah, that is.
So
So
I'm just going through the last couple pages here, just kind of gathering my
we're on
thoughts and stuff on it. It's pretty wild here that he makes the claim to be the world. I think everybody made that massive connection, and shout out to everybody who didn't go crazy last chapter. Like, what does Zebex want with Harold? Obviously, he wanted him to join his crew. Like that was why he showed up last chapter. There was nothing deeper there.
What's more interesting about this panel, it's not the King of the World text box to me. It's him saying this is just the prologue to my life.
Yeah,
That is
Like,
that is
most
very
interesting. It's
interesting.
folded.
crazy.
Yep. And Oh, let's talk about Second Life because people have mentioned about Blackbeard being not exactly being a single person for decades now, and
Yeah.
this is
Ever since the
this is
Jaya,
getting
it's
wild.
not he, it's them and stuff. So it's
Right.
like there's been dozens of theories about this, and like with him saying "I'll be back," Terminator
Yep.
style, and then him saying this is the prologue to my life. It's
all
like
coming
this
together.
man has, his plans don't seem like they would have ended at God Valley. I don't know. Like even though God Valley is crazy, and we know a lot of people there were popping off, and they were all very strong. This is something that I wouldn't see Otis showing us without it being way more important. You know what I mean?
Right. And the
So
vibe
I was
got
never a
from
fan.
It, go ahead. Sorry.
Just real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of any Rox is still alive, like in any
Mhm.
iteration theories that I've heard for like the past like however many years since I've been caught up now. And now ever since this chapter, it completely changed. I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
let this
I
man
agree.
come back. Like bring him back now. Like today.
Like,
Like,
Yep.
It makes me think that maybe Blackbeard is like, yes, he's his son, but like you guys were saying, like maybe that's the other soul that's within Blackbeard. Maybe
There's something
his
here.
fruit.
Hakuba.
or something
Yeah.
like
Right.
that. Yeah, that's why he doesn't sleep, is because the minute he sleeps is when Rox gets his turn.
And
Well, I
think
don't
about
think it is. I don't think it's that he doesn't sleep. I think that it's just that when he does sleep, he's still awake, but he's somebody
Because
else.
he's
You know what I
Rox.
mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And to bounce
So,
like a couple things off this, it really gives me back to the Goldie Roger quote when he said, "You know, I'm not going to die, partner." It's the same sort of vibe I got when he said, "I'll be back." It's like it doesn't matter what happens to me physically, I'm going to be back. And like to add to that, we have this idea of the Ope fruit being a massive deal, and I've seen it floated around that possibly someone used it to transfer an additional heart, perhaps Rox's heart, into Blackbeard as a child, and that's where the connection stems from. And I don't know, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it because I think it's pretty interesting.
So
I'll be really quick, and then I'll let Cube spit because I know he wanted to try just to speak.
Yeah,
on Ope.
he's busted.
I feel like if it were something Ope related and Blackbeard had like a level of awareness that I'm sure he would have had. But whenever the fight at Winter Island happened, I think he would have taken it a little bit more seriously and not said, "Oh, I guess we could sell it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that kind of downplays that thought. Sorry, Cube, you've been trying to speak for a minute. I just had to get that off my chest.
because,
really quick.
no, because you
Go
guys
ahead.
have
That's
said
fair,
like
Captain.
Quebec.
Real quick. I'm joking.
Shut
So,
up. Go, Cube, go.
No, because no, and I like that Nak interrupted me because it fits perfectly what I'm gonna talk about. So the way that the Rock said prologue, and I said also the last chapter, the way he acted, almost seems like he knows something about this world and how this world is. The not taking anything seriously, the chaotic thing. The only people who were aware of "I'll be back," or like you said with Roger, it's after they came out of Laughdale and they know everything about the past. You know, I'm a big believer that they're all it's a cyclical. They all are for the voice century. What if Zebex is awoken? Because Vegapunk made that comment in reaction piece. The memories of the voice century shall return. What if Zebex has all of his memories? It would explain everything. Why he he knows how to
He
play
knows
the game.
some stuff.
He knows that because the Roger Pirates know that they will be back after Laughtale, and Vegapunk said they know everything. What if before the Roger Pirates it was Zebex, and he might have his voice century memories? That's why he acts the way he is. He knows the game he's in, so he knows how to play the game now.
Yeah. That makes a lot
Food for
of
thought.
sense.
Might tie back to that Davy Jones inspiration quote that we didn't spend a lot of time on, but it seems to be a long-standing feud here.
Like it's personal to something personal about Emu. Like I'm wondering if, because it's weird. It looks like Zebex. It's not like other characters. It's almost like he's in GTA. You know what I
What do you
mean?
mean by that?
He's like completely out of control, but almost seems like there's a reason for
Nothing
it.
can go wrong.
Yeah, like he's so confident about it, stuff like that, and it makes me think of what if he actually
He is
has,
chaos.
Yeah, like he's basically the Roger Pires of this era. He's the one who knows everything. And when I mean everything is voice century information.
Yeah.
And that's how he knows that he can go talk to Emu with no risk at all. Because he's aware of all of that. He's a player of the game now. He's not a participant. He's an actual player.
Well, that's an
Which is interesting.
interesting idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track there with him being a player of it. I think we all kind of came to the same conclusion last chapter discussion as well, that like he more than likely knows a lot more than what he's letting on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we can dig into like just this chapter and theories for days and days and days. So like, is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on real quick before we get into like final thoughts and stuff?
It is interesting. It's like in NA's lobby when the Straw Hats were together, because Frankie didn't join in NA's lobby. He was just guys following them. There were with Frankie. There were in total 7 Straw Hats, right? They keep doing the number 7 constantly, and right now it's Zebex and 6 other people. The number 7 keeps coming back over and over again. 7 Shishibukai.
Number Warlords too, yeah.
7 Grand Fleet Captains. Like, it's interesting. And that's what makes you think of the Zebex thing. Like, what there's something about the prophecy about 7 people? Because they talked about Joy Boy and a group of people. What if it's a number total of 7 people? 7 Seraphims now.
Right.
Like, the prophecy is about 7, not just 1.
Yeah, and 7's a lucky number.
Yeah. 7 deadly sins as well.
Exactly.
But
yeah. A lot of references in the number 7. So as Nak said, we are going to be heading into final thoughts and ratings now. I know it was a shorter one this time, guys. We've all had a very busy week, so we wanted to keep it light this week. So let's go with Vex first. What's your rating and final thoughts, brother?
Final thoughts. I will be brief. I like that we get so much from the narrator. I like that we get a good pushing of the timetable. I like that it shows us so much of, like, it feels like the floodgates are like bursting open, and now that we have this revealed, we might be able to learn more about Kaido, more about Garp, more about Roger, more about Shiki, etc. It feels like there's so much more of this previous story that has already been told that we will start to be able to get as it pertains more to the current story. And it really feels like more than ever now, like even after getting Emu's powers revealed earlier this arc, slightly, you know, if I don't even know if that's the full picture, but it's some sort of answers. And now that we're getting this, it truly feels like final saga territory. I think that the hype and the reveals and the structuring of this chapter, I honestly can't give it anything below a 9. I wouldn't call it a straight 10. I do see a lot of other people giving it like chapter of the year nominees already, and I think that's valid. For me, 9 is fully respectable, and I don't remember the last chapter I rated much below that. So like this is still really high up there. There's only been a few 10s, so this is like near the top for me still.
Let's go. Well
Let's
said.
go.
I might even go to a 9.5 once there's a little bit more time and I've like let it sit a little bit more. Break week chapters are always a little rough for me, and then sometimes they also jump up like a full half a point or even a full point by the time we get the next chapter, just because there's more time to like cook.
To dig in. Yeah.
Nak, how about you, brother? Final thoughts, rating?
Man, for me, this chapter felt like a special treat. Like, it felt like we didn't deserve to get all this extra context on Rocks through Harold's flashback, and I love it. Like, we talked about getting more from God Valley for 2 years now, 3 years, ever since they spoke about it in Wano, and we're getting more of Rocks through someone else's eyes. I think a lot of people expected that, and I'm here for it. I don't know where the story's going, but like Vex said, it feels like the curtains are closing. We're getting more answers than we are getting questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all here for it. I mean, it feels like we've been on a 13, 14 chapter high of just, lore dump after reveal, after twist. And I'm all for it. The community's been on fire. So, yeah, I'd give it a 9. Easy 9, probably even a 10. Like, I'm just hesitant on giving out 10s because
Of how good it's been lately.
Well, not even. It's just like hesitant to give out a 10 on anything. But like, I really don't have any complaints about the chapter. It felt great. Felt authentic. Roger or Rox feels like his own character. He doesn't feel like some ripoff of something else. So I love it. He's chaos and a character.
Cube, how about you, brother?
So, last week I gave it a 10 because I think the big plot twist of the Rocks Pirates appearing at the end of the chapter was just so well done. One of the best reveal. I think this chapter I will give it, as usual, I use actual bounties in the story of One Piece. I'm gonna take, and it's very fitting because of his name, Rockstar's Bounty, 9.9. I think honestly
Incredible.
with
Okay.
the
Incredible.
emu exchange with Xebex, actually not teasing us like they did in Wano with the Reverie, showing us the next chapter what went down, loosely what went down at the Reverie, the reveal of the original 6. Like in terms of lore dump, it's like Vex said, this is a chapter where you sense you are in the final saga. So for me, it's definitely in the 9s, and like I said, the one thing that was missing is a reveal of someone even crazier, like an introduction, first introduction to a crazy character we've been expecting, you know. So that's why I give it 9.9.
What do you think?
So I won't
You,
lie.
Captain?
When I first read this chapter, when I first read it, my first impression, 6.57 out of 10. I'm being dead serious.
Ooh.
Everyone has one of those big chapters that is like a slam dunk for the entire community that they're like, that just didn't hit for them. And sadly, this one was it for me. I felt like the pacing was very off with it. I like a lot of the information. Actually, I don't even say that. I love a lot of the information that we got in this chapter. I feel like there's a lot of good theory crafting material here. Once again, like you had said, Vex, it reminded me of when we got the crime bosses and stuff like that in Whole Cake. A lot can be said about this chapter for the next few years as we head into the final saga. Now, that all said, after talking with you guys and rereading the chapter subsequent times, the impact of it has grown on me. I think that Rox is a very fleshed out character for the 2 chapters that we've gotten him since R4. And like we'd been talking about with his crew earlier, I think that all of them have just enough personality in this chapter that we get a good sense of them. Like Wang Ji, design alone tells me he's a scumbag, right? And we've been waiting for Wang Ji's reveal for how long now? So long. Cube. Decades now, man. You've been waiting for the Wang Ji reveal.
That's crazy.
It's wild to me. So with that and like all of the impact that this really will have on the community, and you guys keep saying it, this feels like finality, right? Like this feels like we are actually into the final saga now, and we're going faster than anyone expected. And I think that left me with a bit of sadness in my soul. You know what I mean?
You read
like
the chat?
No, I haven't read the chat.
Oh,
Why?
sorry.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check the
Nothing.
chat. I'm actually curious. But Lucas definitely must be.
Nothing. What do you mean?
Wayne reveal is crazy. Revealing Wayne publicly. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, no, it brought a sense of like sadness in my heart to know that we're getting this close to the end. But I think I'm gonna give this chapter an 8.5 out of 10. I think
It's okay, dude. It's okay.
No. Well, because like you said, it's very impactful for the community. The reveals are great. The characters are very well written for this chapter, and I think it's a good showing. It's a good theory crafting chapter to go off of. But like I said, I do feel like Oda has been very good with the pace and like how fast he has been moving through this flashback, and now this flashback on top of this flashback on top of this flashback. But I felt like he was going to slip up at least once throughout the whole thing with how fast he's wanting to go through it. And to me, this was the chapter that did it. So 8.5 for me.
Okay. Boo this man in the comments. Everybody say hashtag not my captain.
Yeah, fair
enough. We'll see you.
Yeah. With that, guys, thank you all for popping in. Next week is break week, so we will not see you Saturday, but we'll see you Wednesday. We're going to have a really good time there. Yeah. Cube, why don't you take us out, baby boy?
And we'll see you all at the next sunrise. Bye.
Bye.